So my name is Gormley. I'm just newly a principal investigator in Milk, and I'm an associate professor of statistics in University College Dublin in the School of Maths and Statistics there. So my role in Milk is, I suppose, as a statistician. There are vast volumes of data being collected by Milk researchers, from data on grass to data on milk to genetic data, and all of these data contain rich information, but we need to dig into that data and uncover the hidden story or unlock the code, and that's what my role is in developing the statistical methods to dig into all of that data and learn what we can from it to improve the quality of milk and improve breeding programs and so on. Maybe I'll pick a specific example for that question. So I'm working with Maria Frizerin, who's a PhD student in Teagasc, and Dr. Sinead McParland there. And they have a really rich data set that they collect from milk samples. So these are very routinely collected across the country. And again, they have this rich information, but it's hidden inside all of these data. So for example, one thing they're interested in is what's the heat stability of a milk sample, because this matters to producers, because the better the heat stability, the better the milk for example, making baby milk powder. So our task is to try and develop statistical methods that can analyze the data collected from these milk samples and see if we can predict the heat stability of the samples, because that's quick, it's cheap, and it's accurate. So if we can do that using statistical methods rather than having to send samples physically to a lab, producers can run this sort of online and assess the quality, different traits that they may be interested in their milk samples.
Okay, so this would avoid waste, I suppose, and kind of avoid spoilage of milk. Am I right? And when you say stability, is that what you mean?
Absolutely, yeah. And I suppose there's a whole range of different traits. So they're interested in, for example, what the pH of a sample is. So if we can determine the pH of a sample using data recorded on that sample rather than doing a physical test, and do that quickly and efficiently on a computer, that's much more efficient and cost effective, and exactly less wastage and spoilage, and better for the environment and producers and the world at large. Well, I think that Milk's a really exciting place to think about 5 years' time. And I go back to sort of where I started with this, is because of the variety and the range of data that are being produced from researchers right through the themes in Milk, right from people collecting imagery of grass and clover growing to people collecting genetic data on cows so we can improve breeding programs. And these all vary in complexity and size. So you'll hear people talk about big data, but also there's small data sets because it's expensive to collect data very often. And those types of data sets cause as much difficulty and challenge to analyze as the huge ones. So I think the exciting places that we'll be in 5 years' time are, as a statistician, is developing the methods and the tools that are accurate, that are valid, that are reproducible, but are applicable to these completely varied ranges of types of data and size of data. Yeah, as well, I suppose probably like most people, there's personal and there's work. So from a work point of view, what's great for me as a statistician is, the simple sample of milk generates all this amazing data that gives us problems that we have to tackle. We have to, analyze these data, and very often there isn't already an existing method that's appropriate, so we have to develop something new, and that means I have to use mathematics and statistics and do the stuff we love to develop that. So I suppose, yeah, I'm grateful to Milk for giving us the opportunity to have to develop these methods that not only progress the field of statistics, but that can also have a practical helpful application through milk, which is such a vital source for everyone.
Absolutely, absolutely. And do you want to comment on it kind of from a personal basis as well? My
personal one is actually funny because I have 3 small children. 2 consume more milk than a small farm could produce. But one of my children has a severe dairy allergy, and I suppose that has really brought milk to the fore in my everyday life. It made me realise how many products milk is in, like things you wouldn't consider. Crisps, salt and vinegar crisps contain milk, and I think that actually that personal experience has made me realise the reach of milk. It's not just that carton in the fridge. It's if you walk into a shop, the number of products that milk has contributed to is just
vast
and varied.
Absolutely.